Next we have Barbara Liskov. You were John's first PhD student? No, Raj was. But you were there very early also. Barbara.
So, I also got to Stanford in the fall of 1963. I had graduated from Berkeley in 1961 with a degree in math and then worked as a programmer for 2 years and then decided to go back to graduate school. Of course, as people have said, it wasn't even a department yet. It was just a program in computer science. I came to Stanford, as far as I knew, without any financial support. And my recollection is that on the very first day when I went into Polio Hall, I met John, and I asked him, I said, "Can you support me?" And he said yes. Now, I think in retrospect, this is not exactly a true story. I suspect maybe I was expected to work in AI because I had been working on the language translation project at Harvard just as a programmer. And so probably they had me pegged as an AI person, and probably I knew who John was, but this is the way I remember it. Memory is not all that reliable. Anyway, that's the first of several things that I want to thank John for offering me that financial support. He supported me as an RA for 5 years until I finished my thesis. In those days, Stanford did not have any kind of master's thesis. They think they still don't have one, so I was entirely in RA support for 5 years. Now, John was for me, very hands-off thesis advisor. I don't recall that we had a group where we met regularly and talked about how people's research progress was coming along. I don't recall ever having any kind of regular meeting with John, not on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. If I needed to talk to John, then I had to organize that meeting. I didn't feel that John was reluctant to talk to me. It was just that he was very hands-off. And to a graduate student, this was rather unnerving. I sort of had to figure out all by myself what I was working on, what thesis topic I should look for, what ideas I wanted to come up with. And frankly, it was quite difficult. But however, when I think back to it, what I see is that it was marvelous preparation for my future career in research. That freedom and independence that John offered to me forced me to become my own person as far as research was concerned, and has stood me in very good stead for all these years. So that's the second thing I want to thank John for giving me the freedom and independence to think on my own. Now, it wasn't all so rosy, because there I was thinking on my own, and truthfully I was floundering. I was looking for a thesis topic, and it was in any area that John was working on. So John was working in AI, and as you've heard, he's working in time sharing, though that was never much on my agenda. But he was also very interested in the mathematics of programs. And so I sort of thought that what I could do is find a thesis topic either in AI or mathematics of programs. And for some reason, I always thought I was going to work in AI, and I was extremely interested in machine learning. And I wanted to do a thesis in machine learning. In those days, the way people thought about machine learning was that the computer should learn the way that people learn. And I tried and tried to make that work, and it never really got anywhere. Well, fortunately, John did not let me flounder forever. And one day, when I went into his office, he suggested a problem for me. And this problem was a program to play chess endgames. I asked John, why me to work on that problem, because I don't play chess. And he said, that's precisely the point. You don't play chess, so you have no preconceptions about how to play chess, and therefore you can attack all these chess books as a novice, thinking about it as a computer scientist, because underneath the covers of these books are, in fact, algorithms and heuristics. And if you think about it as a computer scientist without preconceptions, you can see what these are. And so this was the topic that I worked on for my PhD thesis. I'd actually managed to finish it. So that's the third thing I want to thank John for. After giving me the freedom and independence, he sort of saved me, handed me a topic, and I was able to complete my PhD. Now, what I mentioned was that I saw John working in two different areas. One was AI, and of course that was all of AI. You heard Raj talking about all the many things that were going on in AI at that time. And the other one was logic of programs. And although I never worked in logic of programs, With John's enthusiastic support, I took lots and lots of courses in logic. I took Dana Scott, many courses from Dana Scott, and other courses in mathematics. And although I have never used this material directly in my research, it has stood me in such good stead over the years because the way that you think about things, the mathematical approach to thinking about things has also been very valuable to me. So that's the fourth thing I want to thank John for encouraging me to follow this mathematical track, which has really been valuable. So that's really what I wanted to say today. I wanted to thank John for four things: for giving me the financial support that enabled me to finish my PhD, for encouraging me to have freedom and independence so that I could think about developing my own ideas, for finally handing me a thesis topic so I didn't flounder indefinitely, and for encouraging my interest in mathematics because that turned out to be very valuable. There's actually one more thing I wanted to say about John. I was the only woman in my class. I can't even remember how many people there were in our class. It was very small, but I was the only woman among them. And for many years, all the time I was at Stanford, there were very few women students here. And I never felt that that was an issue for John. I felt that John felt that I could do as well as anybody. He did not seem to hold back on that. I think I'm reflecting what his daughter Susan said. He had faith that women could do as well as men, and that was also very important. So I want to thank John, and like all of us here, I'm sorry that he's gone. Thank you.